All right, guys, welcome. We got a jovial bunch here because we are gearing up for the big Triumph concert coming tomorrow in Hamilton, Ontario. Joining me are none other than Sidney and Logan from Slogan's Rock and Roll Extravaganza. Welcome, guys.
How's it going?
Hey, Joey. Everybody watching?
Everybody wanting it.
Yep. All right, so we are going to pick our favorite song off each Triumph album. And this one should be interesting to say the least. This is going to be a good one. We've been waiting to do this one for a little while here. So we're just going to dig right into it. We're going to start off going chronologically through the albums here, from the first Triumph album to the last, which hard to believe the last was wow, 34 years ago. Who would have
Yeah.
thought? Crazy.
Um,
Man. All right, so we're going to dig in starting with the first Triumph album, which came out, saw the light of day on October the 13th, 1976, all the way back then. And this one came out on Attic Records, Canadian label here. It did not chart in anywhere in US or Canada, but it was the first album and it did go gold. How does an album go gold when it didn't chart? Interesting, huh?
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
the
crazy.
online information is weird for some of this stuff. It did do it went gold, but there was I guess no songs actually charted is what they mean. I don't know. Just kind of
well,
Yeah.
probably what happened in most cases, it might have sold after the
yeah,
fact, after they broke bigger with the follow-up
maybe.
albums, and then they had to certify it because it did sell as many as
Yeah,
it did. But by that point, it just never resurfaced on the charts, is more
yeah.
likely my guess here.
Uh,
All right, so let's dig into Triumph's first album, and we're going to start off with Logan.
Cool, man. All right. So my favorite song from the first album, I don't think has changed since we did the show. Um, that we because we covered all these albums first. That was the first thing we did on this channel, pretty much, right? So I'm gonna go with Street Fighter and the Street Fighter reprise. Call it cheating, whatever. I guess it's one
One,
song,
yeah,
right? Basically, you can't have one without the other, right?
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I always thought this kind of was precursor to some of like the heavy like thrash, not thrash maybe, but speed kind of metal that was coming in the 80s with that heavy riff. It's got a very up tempo feel all the way throughout the track. Um, and yeah, I always thought the opening riff of that song kind of reminds me of like a riff in Highway Star by Deep Purple. So, and them guys love that, old classic rock, Zeppelin and Purple. And there's
yeah.
all kinds of, especially on the first album, there's all kinds of that influence all over them songs. But yeah, I know Sydney, I think, was telling me, I think we talked about this too on the show, that Gil actually wrote this track, which is kind of interesting because Rick sings it. So it's a little different from how they're usually format things with whoever sing or whoever writes the song usually sung it. So it's kind of interesting to have that be a different kind of format for them. And yeah, I've always loved the solo in this song. I think it's one of Rick's best, really. And I just love that it's really cool when you're a guitar player, like I try to be a guitar player every now and then.
I tried
But listening
for
to
Halloween.
yeah,
Okay.
listening to Rick's that lick he does at the start of the solo because he's going like up and down the fretboard like crazy, like hitting every single note you can hit pretty much in the scale he's playing, which is pretty awesome. And I always love that riff underneath it. Um, but yeah, on the reprise, that kind of starts with an acoustic and everything, and it's got some I think it's got some like synths in the background kind of thing going on, kind of atmospheric. And it's the first song where they use that like cadence, the military cadence kind of thing too. Um it's kind of it's like their first real like big epic track they ever did, and they would do one or two of them every now and then, but especially on these first two records, they kind of delved into that style here and there. So yeah, I always love that song, man. Street Fighter is my favorite from the first record.
Cool.
All
I
right,
got
what do you
the
got for us, Sid?
Oh, I also got the original vinyl, which Gil didn't like because clearly he's got like, yeah, there's the hair piece missing, I guess. I
That's
don't
his
know if
best
he was
feature.
bald or if it's just the way his hair is back. I don't know. He must wear a hairpiece. I don't know. Or maybe it's just his hair was wet. I honestly don't know. Like it's
I
not the
remember when
best.
we first started doing shows, I made that my background one time. Just Gil.
For the show, I should have AI'd our faces on that. Me, you, and Myron making that show. That would be funny. I get to be Rick. Oh my god, for
Oh
sure.
man.
Oh, Joey, you never asked Rick about this when you did the show with him with the interview, did you? Ask him what
No.
was with the picture. He'd probably be like, "Wow, oh yeah, not
Rather
not the
not talk
best,
about it, huh?
not the best album artwork. The picture of them is fine. They didn't need to be shirtless though. Anyways, but yeah, then they obviously reissued it as in the beginning, and I don't know what year, but
95.
95. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
because
a
this
good
just
call.
says
Mhm.
yeah, because this just says 76 on it. They don't have like the updated year on it. That's weird, but yeah. All right. So yeah, my same as Logan actually. My favorite off of this is also it's actually my favorite Triumph song. So that was easy.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, all the reasons Logan said, I guess all I'll add to that is yeah, I hear a bit like more communication breakdown that riff. Yeah, it's a little bit highway
Oh
star
yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even Mike's bass playing on that. If you try to like listen to like if you just try to focus on his bass playing where
Mhm.
Rick's going doing the solo or right before the solo, Mike's keeping up with him and he's doing all these crazy bass notes and everything. He's playing really fast. He's not just doing simple basic bass notes. I think he's actually a pretty underrated bass player because you got Rick Emmett in the band and everyone focuses on him, right? And but yeah, again, Gil's an amazing drummer. Just great drumming on that too. Just such a great song. And yeah, it's interesting that might be the only song where one guy wrote the song, the other guy sang it. There might be others. I'd have to actually go through all this, but yeah, that is very interesting. But yeah, that's also that was easy, and it's hard not to pick other stuff on here. Like there's lots of great songs on here, but this is like
Some of
their
these
Zeppelin Deep Purple-ish album, like Logan said,
some of
and
these some of these albums are really hard to pick just one song, right? I
not
mean,
to give too much away, but these first two albums are actually my two favorite albums of all time. So it's hard to pick just one
awesome.
song off of them, but you got to when you're doing these. So yeah, Joey, that's my number one off of this, same as Logan.
All right.
Cool.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm going to go with a different song on here. And I actually came to know this song more on the a different album initially because
Yeah,
back in our area over here in the US, this album really wasn't available only as an import, I guess, but only it was only available as an import, so we weren't able to get it until it finally got remastered. I think was when I first actually seen it. Um, and they took the Rock and Roll Machine and they changed up the and that was our first release that we got
yeah,
here was the international version of Rock and
yeah,
Roll Machine, and of course, Blinding Light Show slash Moonchild was the
yeah,
song, and that's where I first heard it, and that's what I'm picking from this album, clocking in at over 8 minutes long. And just a great song. Definitely the highlight for me out of all these songs on this particular album. Just always fell in love with that one, and I think they're playing it on the tour. That's
yeah,
cool that they resurrected it. I was actually
yeah,
surprised that they did it really, because
yeah.
it's such an older song, and they must feel highly of it if they're pulling it out of the hat here on their reunion here for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Close
yeah, so
second, Joey. Close second, man.
I
Close
think it
second.
became a favorite once they kind of did the Sweden rock thing and all these in the Rocklahoma. I think it became like a favorite. They were playing it then because like people were wanted to hear it.
hmm
But
Nice.
yeah,
All right, so there's our first album out of the way. We're gonna go to the year 1977. A little over a year later, Rock and Roll Machine comes out on November the 3rd, also on Attic Records. There it is. Nice limited edition. Wow, sweet.
he's got the. Is it a
Yeah.
picture disc or is it a?
Um, it's Chrome. The record's Chrome.
Wow,
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
nice.
crazy.
Byron Bolt had this when we did the show, and I was like, oh well, I gotta find a copy of that.
Yeah.
I think
What?
on the out or on the grooves on the inner grooves, their names they actually signed their names on the inner
Wow,
groove of that.
Oh
So
wow,
pretty
definitely
cool,
a
man.
collector's
that's
edition.
cool.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right, so this is the album that pretty much broke them in Canada. Obviously, it peaked at number 19, went double platinum in Canada, and when they because the thing with this album, it's a little weird, is the Canadian version came out, before the international version.
Yep.
a different international version was released on RCA records in the United States and other countries in '78. So it was a little after the fact, a couple months after the fact into the next year. And with this album here, um, obviously we're gonna just go with the Canadian version since we already went with the Canadian version of
Right.
the In the Beginning and the regular first album there. But I just wanted to kind of point out the fact there is a an international version of Rock and Roll Machine, which pretty much takes songs from both the albums and puts them on here. So let's dig into this one and let's see what Logan has for this one.
All right, man. This one, I think this one might be harder to me than the first album. I love this record, man. Um, you know, all kinds of great songs. Um, I think I have to go with the title track though. It's like an all-time staple, of their live set and everything. And I just, when we did the show, I know I said one word to describe it, the energy, man. Just a hard rocking song. And it's kind of like I was talking about Street Fighter. There's a lot of speed metal kind of influence in a track like this. A lot of them bands were probably listening to Triumph, I'm sure. And yeah, I just love it. It's got this like chromatic thing that leads into Rick's solo, and that's like a staple of their live shows. That's when he takes his solo and everything
Mhm.
back in the day. And he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff in that solo, like tapping and a bunch of harmonic things and really fast licks and everything. It's just awesome, man. And I gotta mention Gil's vocal on that track. I mean, that's one of his best. He's screaming it up during some parts of that song. And
Mhm.
it's just a hard rock and roll anthem. I mean, rock and roll machine. Not much more to say about it. I mean, it's just awesome, man. What is it like It's over 7 minutes, right? No,
6:53. It's
almost
almost just under
close.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that like a song like that, you would think would kind of change. It does change because it's got solos and stuff,
Yeah.
but like it keeps your interest the whole time. It's not
Right.
like something you get bored with. I
Mm.
just love it, man. But yeah, it's always been one of my favorite songs since we did the show. So yeah, Rock and Roll Machine had to be the pick for me.
Yep. Well, it's mine too. So again, this is my yeah, probably my second favorite Triumph song. I mean, they're my favorite band. So three of these albums are actually my top three albums of all time. We'll get to what the other one is later. It's probably very controversial, but if it weren't for the song Rock and Roll Machine, like if this was just called that and there was no song on here, I'd probably go The City. But I gotta go
Yeah,
with Rock and Roll
City's
Machine, the
great.
title track. My only issue, I honestly like, I love Rick's solo when he does it live. My only issue with the live part is I don't think they've ever actually played the full song like how it is on the record. They don't go like back to that. They don't do
Oh
that,
yeah, yeah,
that part before they go. They don't do those leads before they go back into the main verses. He just
hmm
goes and like does the solo and like adds a lot to it, which is fine, I guess, because it's live. You're trying to make it different. But I would like to see. I mean, we're not going to get that, but it would be cool to see like a live performance of the song like in its like entirety, like how it was on the album.
oh yeah,
But yeah, it's yeah. People say that song just kind of rips off a bunch of things. I say it's a tribute to those songs. It is called Rock and Roll Machine. That's them
yeah.
saluting like songs like Speed King and Heartbreaker and by Zeppelin. So like yeah, and Purple. So like yeah, that's how I take that. And it's whatever. It's a phenomenal song. It's not like you put it on and you can't tell the difference between that and those other songs, right? I think it's
Mm.
not to
Yeah,
the
they're
point
just
where you
wearing
can't
they're
tell the
wearing their
difference.
influence on their sleeve, man.
Every
I
band
love it,
takes
man.
influence, but yeah, it's just a
Oh
like
yeah,
Logan said, just a fast, high energy rocker. Gil sounds great on it, and really looking forward to seeing that in concert tomorrow. So yeah,
awesome.
All right. Well, we're gonna give you my choice here, and we're gonna make it 3 for 3. Rock and Roll Machine.
That's
yeah,
awesome,
Just
Joe.
that just shows you. I mean, you can't beat it. That song is the one on this album that just is the song that stands out the most. There's no doubt about it. Like you said, the heavy backbeat there. Gil's killing it on the drums and the vocals,
Yeah.
and Rick's got this smooth sailing on the guitar there, and it's just what a great track. With Levine holding down the back end there. Um, See that if I had to pick if that song wasn't on the album like you mentioned, I would have to go with Takes Time. For some reason,
Oh,
I've
what a great
yeah.
song.
always liked
That's a great
Takes
one, man.
Time.
Yep.
Yeah, because it kicks off the album and it
Yeah,
was on the other version, so I knew that song already because it was on the
yeah.
international version. So that's what I would have gone with that. But you guys said pretty much said
Yeah.
everything about Rock and Roll Machine. Um, the only thing, I mean, I like the cover of Rocky Mountain Way. I just wish they wouldn't play it live. I mean, you got so many other songs I'd rather hear of their own.
Well, I think the reason behind that was their first hit in Canada. Like honestly, here on the radio, you'll hear that every single day. You'll never hear the Joe Walsh version. You'll hear that on the radio.
Oh,
It
wow.
was a big, huge hit in
That
Canada, so that's why they play it live. Because to them, it has
yeah.
probably special meaning because it was like their first big hit.
Yeah, Sydney was
Covers are
telling
always your first hit. That's weird, but yeah.
Sydney was telling me that when we got into the show and everything, like that was the version of Rocky Mountain Way he grew up on,
I didn't even know it was a
And I was
cover
like,
when I heard it.
yeah,
My
that
dad
blew
didn't
my
even know it was
mind,
a
man.
cover.
It was
Nice.
so cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
My dad, who grew up in the '70s, didn't know it was a cover. He didn't know it was like some Joe Walsh song because all you heard was this for, like you said, 2 times platinum. When we did our show,
Oh yeah. Massive.
Grand Illusion only went platinum in Canada. Just doubled the sales of Grand Illusion in Canada. That's
Well, yeah.
insane because you couldn't even get this in Canada until like a year later, and it's not even the
Right.
same track listing. Like
It's
I
crazy.
grew up hearing all these songs. Like my parents would play this album endlessly, so it's just like. But yeah, I'm going off on a tangent now. So to get to the next album.
All right, no worries, no worries. All right, so the next album we're gonna go jump ahead to 1979. So they go from 77 till 79 without making a fresh recording here, but we finally get one in March of 79, and that's gonna be none other than Just a Game. Yeah, I love that cover.
Yeah,
And of course
So,
the gatefold of the game, right?
yeah.
The game that you can't win, right?
that's kind of the point, right? Yeah, it was like this game. Look, even on the CD, they include you with a little thing.
Yeah, I mean I love it, man. That gatefold is killer.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's
so I'm
awesome.
not sure what it did on the charts because there's kind of like a little thing next to it where it just got a line through it, but it went platinum, obviously, in the Canada, gold in the US, and it did peak at number 48 in the US. The first song I ever heard off this album was on we had a video station that played some videos in about 80, I think it was around 80, 81, somewhere around there, and they
Yeah,
would play Lay It on the Line, which was cool. That's how I got, actually, that's the first song I have ever heard by Triumph. Just to go off on a tangent there, but they would play it on that video show, and man, what a great introduction to the band, and that pretty much
Yeah.
got me into it. So
Yeah.
let's hear what you guys got for Just a Game.
All right. So just a game. I just wanted to say, man, that was like the album that kind of got me into the band, when I was younger. That was one that because I had I won't go too into this. I always mention this. I had a hard drive full of music from my cousin because he used to download a bunch of like whatever band was popular, he just would download
Hmm.
whatever they had pretty much. But I think Triumph he only had a couple albums and that was one of them. So that was like my real introduction to the group. And kind of like Joey said, Late on the Line, that was just epic tune. But I have to go with something a little deeper. Probably again, I've said this what 3 times now that it's one of my favorites. I guess it's my favorite for a reason, right? American Girls, man. That's one of my favorite Triumph tunes. It's like a heavy riff rocker, kind of boogie in its riffs and stuff. And I think Gil gives a great vocal on it.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and I like how they play on the American anthem there
yeah.
in the middle, and the lyrics are pretty funny. Like I won't even kiss her unless I'm going to make her my wife. I had to mention that, right?
Sure, Gil.
But
Yeah,
yeah, and I just love, man, Rick's tears it up on this song. I think I didn't notice this when we were doing the show before, but like I think he does some slide work in some of that stuff. I
yeah,
think there's some slide in there, which I don't think I mentioned that. That was pretty cool because you don't hear Rick play slide too often, so
mm,
it's kind of different to hear him do that. And I kind of like how the second half of the song, Rick's solo at the end, that's one of my favorite solos he did because it's kind of like a homage to kind of like what Sidney was saying, but he's going further back. He's kind of playing like some 50s like rock and roll licks, and then he's
yeah,
adding his own thing to it, which I just thought was awesome. I've always loved that song though. Yeah, I guess some people could probably call it cheesy, but it's awesome to me, man. I've always loved that tune. And how it starts, that like it sounds like a plane's like coming down or something, like a spaceship or some crazy thing, you know. But yeah, American Girls for me on Just a Game, man. So
yeah. It's that's not my pick, but like you said, Yeah, if you're a person that's into like if you have to have good lyrics with the music, you would hate that because it's totally ridiculous. Just like
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think though that's them trying to capture the American market. I mean, they did Little Texas Shaker on the previous album, so they
yeah.
were trying to
And
do
that's a
have
great,
these
great
songs
one
to
too.
try to like associate with the US a little bit. But yeah, American Girls lyrics are cheesy as hell, but that is a great song. But if that would be my
Awesome.
pick, but there's one I like more. This is probably one of the deepest cuts. I don't think they probably didn't even play it live on the tour for this album. Is Young Enough to Cry. Just
Ah,
Yeah,
like
that's a great
this
song, man.
slow, like bluesy rocker. I think if Clapton did like a song like that, it would be a hit. Like if Clapton did it, but Triumph does it and it doesn't really do anything. It's just this heavy bluesy that down, 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 down. It's just this really and Bill sounds great on it. Gilson
yeah.
Oh yeah,
sings this blues stuff really well. He pulls it off. He's got that bluesy voice on that, and that solo in the middle just sounds amazing. And I think this was mentioned when we were doing Sabbath, the solo at the end of that. I think the Sabbath one would be older. The solo reminds me of oh my God, what's that song off of Technical Ecstasy? It's kind of also actually a ballad, actually.
you won't
I think
change me. Isn't that what it was?
You Won't
Because you
Change
do.
Me. Yeah, there's a
Yeah, I remember
solo
you
on that.
mentioning that.
It
Yeah,
has that kind of sound to it. It's
totally.
like
Yeah,
Triumph doing like a Sabbath kind of ballad thing. I hear that total. I hear like a total Technical Ecstasy influence on that from just that specific song. You Won't Change Me. But yeah, I
yeah.
think it's a great song. 6 minutes, but it doesn't feel like it. Like there's the soloing that again is phenomenal. Rick can play blues solos. He can just yeah, I don't know, and then just that whole dark doomy riff that's kind of throughout it. Just really cool song and one that not enough people talk about. I think it's a great song. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I know what yours is because I recall you popping in during one of our streams and saying this is the best song on this album, and I think I played it during one of my streams. So I think I know what your next one's gonna be, Joey. But yeah, see if I remember this
All
correctly.
right. So I mentioned Lay It on the Line earlier on, but that's only because that was the first song I ever
Yeah.
heard. And
Hmm.
Young Enough to Cry, yeah, I think that might be Gil's best vocal performance on an album
So
Wow.
much
because
emotion in that,
no
right,
one
man?
would ever expect him to sing like
No.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was always having these heavier songs. So
No.
to get into a
Hmm.
bluesy song like that, just amazing. Beats his Just One Night song that everybody ripped,
Oh God.
because of the
Thank God
Someone's
you're
pop.
gonna
not
pick that?
playing that.
What?
I'd leave the show. I'd want my money back. No. I
But
wanna fight about it. Oh my
now
God.
you made a good point. One that kind of hides on the album. And the weird part of it is this song is actually the album's title, and it still doesn't get no love. We're talking
Yeah.
about Just a
Oh,
Game,
Yeah.
Rick Emmett's
nice.
great fantastic song. I remember talking to him about it when I interviewed him. I had to bring up this song because it's one of my all-time favorites, and he said they just never really did it live because it was just a hard song to actually, because they were always trying to play the faster, the heavier, harder songs, and as they went on, obviously they did, in their career play, some of the slowers, but not too much. But he said that was the main reason because they all had to agree on what they were going to be playing in concert, and they tried to keep it more on the rock side of things. If you ever got to see Rick solo on some
Yeah.
of his solo shows back in the early 2000s up until the time he stopped doing solo
Yeah.
shows. He would do a couple of these, maybe not this song, but he would do some slower material because he was
Yeah.
more geared towards the instrumentation and everything. But yeah, but just a game. I would kill to hear a live version of that song today. Is just as even back from the day. But that's the song for me. I just love the whole song, the lyrics, and just a great song. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
That goes to show you how good Just a Game is because
It's an amazing
we
song.
picked
Yeah.
we picked different songs, right? And we didn't none of us picked the hit. So that
Yeah.
Yeah.
just goes to show you. You
Yeah.
know.
And I love Lay It On the Line.
Oh, it's awesome, man,
Hold
right?
On's a
Yeah.
good song. Hold On was actually
Oh
a big
yeah.
hit here in Canada, but like,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
there's many people that love Suitcase Blues. He used to play that on his solo show to end the show.
I've I've
There's a
seen him
lot of great songs on here.
I have
Yeah.
seen him do an acoustic show and he's played that. I think he might have done like an acoustic version of Just a Game too, but obviously it's not going to sound
Oh,
the same doing an acoustic version, but it was kind of
Yeah.
cool. Like
that'd be cool. Yeah.
Suitcase Blues, I know for sure he closed off with that. But
Yep. Yep. And I've seen him
yeah,
do that myself. So awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. All right. Well, that closes the game on the 70s.
yeah.
Now we're going to March of 1980 when Triumph, exactly 1 year pretty much from the date of the last album,
Yeah.
we see Progressions of Power. It reached gold in Canada, and UK finally gets a chart, number
Wow.
61 in the UK, and the good old US hit number 32. So they're moving higher up on the charts as we speak here. And yeah, let's see what Logan has to say about this one.
Cool, man. Progressions of Power. This one was tough. I had two that I'm really fighting back and forth
I think
with.
I know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah. I had to go. I think I'm gonna go with the title or the first track, man. I Live for the Weekend.
Okay.
Yep. That's gonna be my pick. I guess it's relatable for anybody who's in the workforce, right? 9 to 5. When it gets to be Friday or Saturday or whenever you get off, you're ready to leave, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, what does he say? 5 o'clock, he's out the door kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I think it introduces the album. It's got, in rocking fashion. It's got a great guitar solo. Before we get the epic vocal, I think Gil gives a great vocal on this
Yeah.
track, and probably one of his higher vocals too, man. I mean, he's like really screaming. Um, and yeah, got all the great qualities of a signature Triumph hard rock sound, in the song. I think energetic tempo and a blues type shuffle, with a couple great lead breaks for Rick to show off some of his fast scale work and pentatonic guitar licks. And yeah, I love Gil screaming, like I said, towards the end. And that big ending, when they play the chords of the song and they like really drown it out and every bar is like another chord and Rick's like
Oh yeah,
soloing over everyone.
yeah, at the very
Yeah,
end.
man.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
And he's screaming over it. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know how he's doing. You think about how talented these guys were, because I mean, Gil's banging the drums, dude, and he's
And he's
screaming like
screaming like that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, I mean, this album is really great too. But yeah, so I guess I Live for the Weekend is my pick for Progressions of Power.
They are playing that live on this tour too, so we will get to see that. I don't know if
Awesome.
Gil's singing that though. I don't think he's doing those screams at the end because I wouldn't
Maybe they get
expect him.
maybe they get Todd to do it.
Maybe, probably
Yeah.
could because he's got a great voice. But yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
not my pick. I'm picking a song I know Joey doesn't like, but that's okay because we've discussed this before. I'm going with Nature's Child. I love that riff, just slow, like heavy riff. Kind of has like this cool picking part, almost like I guess it's sort of funky, I guess, at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Chicken picking, I guess, almost. But
Yep.
and then just it's kind of just the bass, then the guitars kind of almost stop and like it's the bass, and then just kicks into like this crazy like fast solo, and it's the solo just comes out of nowhere and it's just like crazy fast. And Dave Mustaine used to actually cover this song live in his band called Panic before he was in Metallica, like when he was young and in cover bands. Meg, he used to do that with his band Panic. So, but yeah, I think that's just a great like heavy song. And yes, this is actually my third favorite album of all time. So the first two, and then this one's my third favorite album of all time. So yeah, I've got three Triumph albums in my top 10 albums of all time. So number one album of the 80s is for me. But yeah, that's a very controversial take because I know how much Joey likes this album. I've watched your Triumph album rankings, so
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this album,
yeah,
unfortunately. I don't know. The weird thing was they played our radio station here, obviously being right next door to Toronto. We played a lot of songs off of these other albums, but
yeah. I'd
this
never heard
album,
these on the radio here though. That's the weird thing. These didn't get on the
yeah,
radio.
once in a while we would hear the roof off maybe and I Live for the Weekend, but other than that, and the weird thing is that the another song actually peaked at number 91 on the Billboard 100, which I never heard it on the radio here ever. So don't know how that happened.
That I Can Survive.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. That's
Yeah.
weird. That's actually the choice I picked. I picked I Can Survive, and I didn't even know that song actually
Wasn't it a
landed.
single? Didn't they release it as a single or something? And it didn't get on the radio, but like it
Yeah, even our station would never
weird.
even play it. It's weird. You
Weird.
got weird. Number 85 in Canada, but
Yeah.
number 91 here. But it made the top 100. I guess, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even realize that. It's the first I'm actually realizing this whole thing here. You figure the song that I would hear is "I Live for the Weekend." You'd hear that one once in a
Yeah.
while. So if
Yeah.
anything, you would think that that one would have charted, but for some reason, yeah, it
That's
never
really
did. But I Can Survive, a great Gills song there, great vocal there. Not my favorite Triumph song, but not my least favorite. But since I had to pick one song on this album, that one definitely for me stands head and shoulders above any of the other ones. So that's why I
okay.
picked that one. So there we go with Progressions of Power. Get over that one quick and tuck it away, and dust it off in another 20 years, maybe.
Oh boy.
All right. Anyhow, let's dig deeper into the catalog as we go, obviously, to the next one, which was 1981, September. And we are talking Allied Forces. There you go, which turns out to be the band's biggest selling album. Um, it went gold. How did it only go
Yeah, it
gold in
only went
Canada?
gold. This
That
the only
doesn't
song you'll hear like one song off, well, two songs on there. Yeah, this didn't do that well in Canada. They when the popularity increased in the US, it went down in Canada for whatever reason.
weird.
Yeah, it's strange,
It's
man. Yeah, weird.
So
weird.
it's the only U.S. release that went platinum. We reached number 23 in the U.S., which turns out to be Triumph's highest charting album ever in the U.S. as far as studio albums go. UK, it reached number 64, so they were on par with the other one. And Sweden finally makes an appearance at number 44.
Wow.
So Allied Forces, take her away, Logan.
Cool, man. So yeah, had to go with one of the hits for me on this album.
Boo
It's
Hunter.
always been one of my favorites. I know Sydney disagrees,
Just kidding.
Uh-oh.
but
No hits allowed.
there's so many great songs on this
Yeah.
record. You listen to it and it's like I get why this was huge in the US.
Hmm.
Um just, big song after big song really to me. Hook laden hard rock. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, like, and if you haven't heard this album, I mean, you need to get on it. you know. Um but yeah, I had to go with Fight the Good Fight, which, that was the first song on side B. Um kind of opens kind of has some atmospheric keyboards and things going on. And then they get into this pretty cool riff that always reminded me of Zeppelin a little bit. Um, and yeah, I just love it. The lyrical themes and everything that Rick's singing about, believe in yourself kind of thing. And you got to keep persevering on through hard times and everything. I've just always related to that kind of vocal message and lyric. And I've always been a big fan of that kind of thing. And yeah, it's got a nice guitar interlude with nice bass fills from Mike, which I haven't mentioned Mike, but he had some great bass lines on this song, I thought. And yeah, and Rick like sings "You're the master of your own destiny, so give and take the best you can," stuff like that. That just always hit my heartstrings. I guess I'm getting sentimental here. So
Well, it's
yeah,
actually about Rick's grandmother who was passing away. That's what he actually wrote it for.
yeah,
Was
that's
her
great. Yeah,
persevere through her cancer. Unfortunately, she passed away, and apparently he got emotional. He could barely get through the song playing it on stage after
I
she
can
passed.
imagine. Yeah,
It's very tough to like try to get through that kind of
yeah.
thing. But yeah.
Yeah, at the end it kind of picks up a little bit. It's got some soloing and stuff towards the end, and it kind of fades out into that synth heavy line, and Rick's like copying it on the guitar and everything. I just always loved it, man. It's always been one of my favorites, and obviously it was probably one of the first songs I heard too by the group. So yeah, fight the good fight. Every minute, every day.
Every moment. Yeah.
Oh, see, I goofed up.
Yeah. It's funny. Because I used to go on the Triumph forums, their old website, and like chat with people on the chat all the time. And there would be all these, they'd post sometimes. One time there was like a live radio interview with Mike Levine, and you could listen to it live as it was happening. They posted it on the website, and people were like listening to it. And
Wow.
they also would play like I think one or two songs. It was like some radio show in Toronto, and one of them was obviously, of course, "Fight the Good Fight." He was like talking about the song, and he said Mike actually came up with the title "Fight the Good Fight." Like the song was already like written with those lyrics. The song was originally called "Every Moment,"
Hmm.
Hmm.
and Mike's like, that seems a little bit too kind of like I don't know, it doesn't have a good ring to it. Every moment that seems sounds kind of dull for like that's supposed to be an uplifting song. Every moment seems kind of like dull. How about Fight the Good Fight? That's also in the chorus. And
Yeah.
so yeah, Mike, and then the DJ's like, "All right, cool. So we're gonna play it now. So everybody enjoy every moment." And they just start like laughing. It's pretty funny.
I
But
think they made the right decision for sure. Yeah.
yeah, imagine that song being called "Every Moment." It is kind of a weird title, but yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, that's not my pick. I know um it's funny that yeah, Joey's probably gonna be in shock that I'm not picking yeah, but this is probably the yeah, I don't know. I thing is for me with try again, maybe it's the Canada thing because of the success of Rock and Roll Machine. Here in Canada, we always thought of them as like this bluesy hard rock band, which is kind of gone once you like get to this, right? There's touches
Oh
of
yeah.
it, but not really. This is more like gearing towards like I guess the US audience, which is maybe why it started to decline. Because like these two albums don't even really seem like the same band anymore to a point. So I guess this being so huge in Canada maybe affected this. But because of that, I'm going with Hot Time in the City tonight. That's
Mm.
kind of like his ode to Chuck Berry. That's Rick's
Yeah.
ode to Chuck Berry. And again, a more bluesy song, but Rick's singing it. You'd think that would be a Gil one, but Rick's doing it. And yeah, his vocals on that. They've played that live. There's footage of them doing that live shortly after this came out for this tour, and it sounds just as good live. But yeah, it's basically just doing this whole Chuck Berry thing, but Rick sounds great on it. The solos are great. And when they would play it, they would change it from in this city tonight to wherever the city was, so that he'd say like hot time in Chicago tonight or in St. Louis or whatever. So there's footage of them St. Louis saying hot time in St. Louis tonight. So that was kind of cool. So it's kind of like a crowd pleaser song for based off of where they were playing. So which they probably had in mind when they wrote it, to be
Mm.
honest. So but yeah, that's my favorite. And yeah, so we're getting some weird picks. I know. I knew I'd get a weird look for that one. Joey, what's your number one? I think
I
I
had a
know.
feeling you were going to pick that one because when Logan picked his, I looked at it and I said, "Well, you kind of gave us that look when you're talking about being one of the singles or well-known songs on the album." Because I knew you were going to pick something off the wall for sure.
Yeah. Air raid. No. Sound no. It's like
Obviously. Obviously the best.
Interesting thing about Allied Forces is that Gil only sings on two songs. That's weird.
oh yeah, wow.
I didn't even realize that because it seems like, he sings the title track.
Yeah.
He sings the first song on the album, I believe. So it's like,
Oh,
Yeah,
huh.
that's
Full
right.
And
Free
so it
Love.
feels
Yep.
like he sings, his share that he normally does, but for some reason,
And it's his band too. Like yeah.
those are like the only two songs
Weird.
that he sings, weirdly
Well, I know
enough.
we talked about this a little bit when we did our shows on them. I don't know if this had something to do with it, but like you look at Progressions of Power too, Rick doesn't have a lot of songs. It's
Right.
a very Gil heavy album, so I don't
Yep.
know if this was
Yeah.
where the tension was starting to build a little bit with them too, or
It's
I mean, I
where it
don't
was
know.
like a bit of a competition or who's gonna get more songs on the album kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because they're both
Yeah.
mega talented guys,
Right.
you know. I mean,
Because Rick actually wanted to leave after Allied Forces. He said if I had left then, it probably would have salvaged that 20 years of friendship where we didn't speak to each other. It would have given us some space, and then we could have got just back together a couple years later and regrouped. I just wanted to go do some solo stuff, but the label talked him into staying with the band. But
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. So for my pick on this one, I'm going to dig into I'm young, I'm wild, and I'm free. I
okay,
can't help it. Magic Power is definitely the best song on this album to me. And if it wasn't, I would go with a track that you probably never would have expected me to pick, and that would be the album's closer,
say
Say
goodbye.
Goodbye.
say goodbye. Yeah, that's a good one too, Joey.
Yeah, those are the songs that we would hear on our radio station up here. Magic Power,
Yeah,
obviously Fight the Good Fight, and Say Goodbye. Those are the three songs that got all the airplay up here, which I was kind of surprised that Say Goodbye it's another song that doesn't get the love that it deserves. So make sure you guys check out my interview, my first interview with Rick when I
yeah.
interviewed him the first time. That's the best interview because we were actually able to discuss a lot more. We had to
Okay.
discuss more on his book that came out on the second one, but that was the one about the guitar thing there. But yeah, this one great album. Is it my favorite Triumph album? No. but it's definitely a great album, no doubt. It's like there's only so many albums that, that this is definitely one of the best Triumph albums by a mile, even though it's the best selling album. But that's what I got. I got Magic Power. It's a song you always hear on the radio and you
Yep.
always will till the end of time.
Yep.
All right, so
Cool, man.
there's
Yep.
that one. And we are going to dig into 1982, December.
82 or 83? Mine says 83. I don't know if this is wrong. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Mine's got 83 too.
well, here it is. It was 82 when it came out in Canada, but in the US
Oh,
it came out in January of 83, which is
really? Then why?
strange because I thought they were released on the same
Yeah.
format
Yeah.
after a period of time.
Hmm.
So there probably could be some discrepancy. I always thought it was 83 myself. So,
That's
Hmm.
weird because mine's a Canadian copy and it says 83. So I don't know. That's weird.
well, it was definitely recorded in 82. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when it actually came out, who knows, different labels, different things. But
December 82 in Canada, January 83 in the US. So it's basically 83, I
yeah.
guess. Technically
Yeah, for the
82, but
most part.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, no worries. So what we're going to do here, we got number 29 in Canada, went gold again, 31 in Sweden, and number 26 in the US with another gold album. Never Surrender, RCA Records. Take it away, Logan.
Cool, man. So Never Surrender. I'm gonna go back to a Gill track for this one. Kind of an ode to the live show, right? When the lights go down. I've always
Yeah.
loved that song, man. And it's really kind of like what Sydney was saying. They are kind of getting back to the bluesy thing on a track like that, you know.
Hmm.
Rick's playing some slide and stuff at the start, which is really cool. And when Gil's vocal comes in and it gets all really heavy with he plays all these cymbal hits and everything. This
Yeah.
is really cool. It's got a cool groove to it, I always thought. Yeah, I think it's for sure my favorite off this one. I think they kind of buried it though, because it's like almost at the end of side two. Like I could feel like, I mean, I love Too Much Thinking is a great track too that Gil sings at the start of the album, but I could almost see this starting the album too. It kind of has that feel. And I
Yeah.
know on the Stages live album, I don't know if they did this live all the time, but on the Stages live album, that's the first track. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's a great way to introduce a crowd to the band. I feel like. Um, but yeah, I always love that song, man. When the lights go down, it's got a great chorus too. Gil's really singing it up on that one. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think they're doing that live. I'm not
Yeah, they're opening with it.
awesome.
right. Yeah,
See,
they are.
right?
Yeah,
Half half the
I got
album
the
was
set list open now. So, all right. Yeah.
that. Cool,
So
man.
I'm going with the song. Logan kind of mentioned it. I'm going with Too Much Thinking, the opening track.
Yeah, that's a
And
great one too, man.
another weird thing about this, they actually played this at the US Festival. They opened with it at the US Festival, but it never
Mm.
actually made it to like the album. So there's no way
Huh.
to actually like listen to the live version. I don't know if there's footage out there. I don't think the footage exists of them doing
Yeah,
it.
I've never seen it before. That'd
It's
be
on
cool to see.
Wikipedia. It says they opened with that, but then it was left off. So then the CD version as a bonus track gives you "Follow Your Heart," which is not. It's I don't even think it's like live. I think it's just the studio version, I believe, which is weird.
Yeah,
It's
I remember us talking about that.
like
Yeah, that's
why?
weird.
It was weird. Why didn't you just have too much thinking on that? Maybe it got lost. Maybe something happened and there was issues. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah. To date, there hasn't been a reason given for the omission of too much thinking for the live releases. Go figure. Yeah, just weird. But that's my
If
pick.
if Joey interviews him again, you gotta ask Rick about
It's
it.
the only thing I wanted to ask you, Rick. Too much thinking. Like 2 minute interview. It's like, oh my god. Clears out his day to talk for 2 minutes.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
call him up. It was got to need 2 minutes of your time. 2 minutes with Rick Emmett.
Might just get Gil for that one because he wrote it. But yeah, too
Yeah, I
much.
guess it would make
Kind
more
of
sense.
starts with like almost like is it a political speech or something at the beginning? It sounds like a real speach. Like
Yeah,
someone
it's
typing
kind
on
of
a typewriter, and then that wah kicks in. That then the solo is like got the wah going on it. I think that's again an underrated song in their catalog. I'd love to actually see live footage of that. I don't know if that'll ever come to fruition. I wish they would like re-release the US Festival with that footage, but
yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean
great.
they opened up with that tune on the Never Surrender tour, in
Yeah.
most places. So that's
Yeah.
definitely there's got to be video out on that, I'm sure somewhere. Just got to
Yeah.
look it up on YouTube. But
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. All right. Well, I'm totally different than you guys on this one.
Okay.
And it's a sentimental song. The song that I'm picking is the big hit in the US. Heard it on the radio all the time. Love the emotion in Rick's voice. I love the guitar and just a great song. And I'm going with none other than Lost in a World of Fantasy.
Wow. Okay.
Just a great song. Just love it. I can't believe they're not playing it now. I should grab them and knock their heads together how they're not playing this song. I just love this song. If there's one Triumph song I would love to see put in the set, that is the one. I just love A World of Fantasy. I believe there is a live version of it on
I think it's on the US Festival, isn't it?
stages, isn't it? Is it on stages?
It's on stages
Uh,
and the US Festival.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a video of them doing it at the US Festival. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird because at the US Festival, wasn't that that was not, well, it was 1983, I guess. Yeah, so that would make sense.
Probably
Yeah.
supporting Never Surrender, right? Yeah.
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 Yep, yep. I always kept thinking, I forgot there was a couple US festivals. There was the one in 82 and then there was the
Yeah.
one in 83. So
That's
it kind of,
Oh yeah, I
the-
get them confused too, Joey. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, so that's what I got. I got A World of Fantasy, great song, phenomenal. And we are going to move on to our next album, which is going to take us go November of 84. And there it is. This is Thunder 7, baby. Album
oh,
number 7.
best
And
artwork too for any of their albums, I think.
yeah,
Awesome artwork, man. Yeah, I should
yep.
have looked up. I can't remember who did it. I
That would
think it
look
was like
so good on a
Comic Book
shirt.
Artist guy.
Yeah.
So number
Yeah.
43 in Canada, number 43 in Sweden, number 35 in the US. So pretty much all the areas from the previous album, it went, it didn't do as well,
Yeah.
but at least it did chart. It went platinum in Canada, so we finally make a return to
Oh,
platinum in Canada. And the US, oddly enough, I don't know how, but it's only gold in the US. And I tell you, if there's one album that they used to play a lot on the radio here in Buffalo, it definitely was Thunder 7. Um, definitely, I think the problem would hurt some of these albums, like in our case, 1985, the first part of it, we lost our rock radio station.
really?
Um,
Wow.
yeah,
Mm.
these idiots came in, wheeled out all the records, and it turned into
Mhm.
like a light FM channel.
Oh God.
And it stayed that way for 5 years until they brought it back because a different company bought them out. So they brought the
Oh,
first thing they did was they brought 97 Rock back, thankfully. But yeah, that was hard because there was a lot of good stuff that was released in 85, 86 that we just never, the only way we could hear it is if we heard
I
it
don't know.
on QFM 97 or
Hmm.
107 Q107 in Toronto
You
or
could pick up the
97.7
Toronto station?
Hits FM. Yeah, we could get it only at night or can't
Okay.
couldn't get it
Oh,
always as clear as you wanted to be. There was always like some hiss or static or something. But I at night it would come in better, and I definitely heard. I used to listen to Derringer all the
yeah.
time. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yep.
God, you're bringing me down. Not Rick Derringer. It's a different Derringer, Logan.
Oh wow.
John
What's his
Derringer.
name? There's a guy on the radio, a Toronto radio station.
Yep.
Cool.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So Thunder 7. Let's see what you guys have for this one. I think we're going to be all over the board on this one. That's my take on it because it's such a
I think
great album.
oh, me and Logan
Yeah.
pretty much know each other's picks because we've talked about this stuff so much. So it's kind of
Yeah, I mean, I love this album, man. I actually just played it today, before we
No,
did the show.
yeah.
And yeah, I was like, damn, really hard to pick one song, man. But yeah, I think I gotta go with another one of the hit songs. I know, I know. All right. But Follow Your Heart, man. That's always been one of my favorite Triumph tunes. Probably one of my favorite Gill tracks for sure. And there's a lot of this on this album. I didn't even notice this until today. There's a lot of Rick and Gill singing together
yeah.
Hmm.
on, because one I was really thinking about was
Time, time.
Killing Time. I love Killing Time, man,
Hmm.
because that one really shows off their vocals together.
Mm.
But yeah, I like Follow Your Heart. I think it's got a like positive message, kind of like how Perseverance, like I was talking about with Fight the Good Fight. And yeah, love the chorus of the song. It's got a great message, like I said, inspirational. And yeah, musically kind of straightforward. It's got a cool guitar riff, I thought. I actually must have thought I kind of hear it too in my head. It kind of got like a "Don't Stop Running" Y&T, a little bit of that kind of riff to it.
Mhm.
Which I love that song too.
Yep.
So, but Y&T is a whole other thing, so we won't go there. But
Next
but
episode.
yeah, maybe so. But yeah, a
Funny album.
great combination of Rick and Gil really makes the song shine, I think, you know. And yeah, just awesome, man. I could have went with, I was thinking Spellbound, I was thinking Cool Down,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'll go with Follow Your Heart today.
All right.
So
Yeah, I was. Oh man, this is a tough one. I'm still on
Oh
the edge about
wow.
it. Like I could listen to it again tomorrow and pick something else. Like it's. I've always loved Killing Time. I'm
yeah,
glad they
that's awesome.
reunited and put all that stuff aside because I would listen to the lyrics when they weren't talking, and the lyrics are kind of just like "You're gone forever, my friend," and it's just kind of like, oh, that's kind of like foreshadowing what would happen. It's kinda like,
Yeah, true, yeah.
all right, but that's a great song. It's Time Goes By is great, but I still got. I think I got to go with Cool Down.
Ah,
Rock Out, Roll On is good, but yeah, I got to go Cool Down because I again they're kind of going back to the Zeppelin feel, kind of this bluesy thing,
Yeah.
combination of acoustic. And again, it's a bluesy song, but it's Rick doing the bluesy stuff. So both of these guys could do bluesy songs, and Rick sounds great on there. So I my only problem is that solo at the end starts fading out as soon as it picks up speed and he starts shredding, it
Yeah.
fades out. I'd love to see a live version of that, but yeah, cool. I don't know if they ever played it live, maybe on this tour, maybe the very beginning. I don't know, but yeah, that's a to me that's a really great song on here. This is actually like this is probably my favorite of the '80s albums, easily. Um,
Yeah. That's killer,
oh,
man.
yeah. But I think this is just phenomenal album. Like there's nothing bad on here. Even Little Boy Blues, that instrumental at the end is great. But yeah,
Great.
I gotta go with Cool Down.
Awesome.
all right. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So for this album, just loved it when it came out. Rushed out and got it right away. And I always go back to this one probably more than any Triumph album that I own.
And
Just because I could slap it on and not have to worry about skipping anything, just because every song is just that great. I love
Play it
them
all the way
all.
through, man. Play it all the way through.
yeah,
Love them all on this particular one. There's some other ones on other albums that, but this album I just never get sick of. It's just a great overall album. And I had to go with the song that got me into the album when I first heard it. You know how you have to listen to it the first time and you go, wow, this song is great. And the more you hear it, you love it even more. I'm going with Time Goes By.
yeah.
Oh,
Always loved that song.
great one. Great one.
Got a lot of great play up on the in the US here on our radio station.
Really, that song. Okay,
Yeah, they on the radio we would hear that one.
wow.
Follow Your Heart, obviously Spellbound. Those were pretty much the only three that they touched on the radio here. But there's times when they used to do like this show called Album Six Pack on Sunday nights.
Okay,
They would play the albums in its entirety. They would just pick
wow.
six random albums, play them overnight, when nobody's really listening, just to have something on the air.
I don't think they do
But
that anymore. They
they
used to do that here too.
yeah,
Yeah,
That'd be cool if they did, right?
yeah. But it was just great, great to hear. Just a great album, and that's what I got for mine. Time Goes By. And we're going by now to 1986, August, Sport of Kings. Number 33 in Canada, gold, 33 in the US. So it matched both ends of the spectrum here. Um,
that's weird.
yeah, let's dig into Sport of Kings, which was definitely an album that started to see the fans get a little what happened to Triumph here?
Yeah, man. This is kind of Triumph going for more lighter melodic rock sound, right?
It's their Journey album, basically.
Yeah. Journey and Survivor, I think I
But I
mentioned a
like
lot when we
Journey,
did.
so it's like, yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty good still, I thought. I mean, I think they handle, I mean, that's a testament to how good the band is when they
yeah,
can do stuff like this. And then you look, what, 7 or 8 years earlier, they were doing songs like Texas Shaker and stuff, you know?
yeah.
It's just cool,
You go
man.
from like Street Fighter to this kind of stuff, totally different stuff, but it's still
Yeah.
good. Like, but yeah,
So yeah, for my pick, I'm gonna go with the ninth track on the record, "Play with the Fire," which is kind of
Oh
probably the
wow.
more heavier tune on the record. And that kind of goes in from Rick's instrumental. In Brujo, I'll say it right this time, because whenever we did our show, I remember I said something, and Tim Derling was like, "What'd you call me?"
That sounds like a slur, bro.
But yeah, "Play with the Fire," great track, man. Kind of breaks nicely into the start of the song, "Play with the Fire." The
Yeah,
band plays pretty energetic and fast at the start, and it's got a great Rick vocal. It's actually probably one of my favorite Rick vocals, to be honest with you. He's
oh
got a
yeah,
great, especially this period for Rick. I mean, it might not be my favorite period of the band, but he was firing on all cylinders vocal wise,
yeah.
during this time. Uh, Mike and Gil hold a tight groove down on this track behind Rick. It's got like a big arena ready chorus, I thought, before it breaks back into that acoustic riff from the intro. And yeah, of course, Rick gets to show off some tapping skills too, which I can't remember if it's Killing Time or Time Goes By. One of them tunes, he does that kind of
Time goes
tapping
by.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I love when Rick does that because that's something he doesn't pull out of his bag of tricks too often, that he can do that kind of thing. And that just amps the song up when he does that. It really brings the energy, I thought. And yeah, I think it harkens back to scenes of Triumph's past on a otherwise forward-thinking album, like we were talking about. So yeah, it's got some cool drum fills and everything. I do remember on our show, Tim Derling kind of thought this was a drum machine. I'm not entirely sure. It could be.
Play with the
Um,
fire.
yeah, I don't
Not
know.
sure.
It kind of sounds like live drums to me, but I don't, who knows, man. But because I know they were experimenting with that by this point. So, but yeah, that's my pick, man. Play with the Fire.
That's also my pick. Is play with the fire.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
Wow.
great one.
all that's like yeah, that's he. I'm not sure if he's actually tapping. I know I watched an interview with him,
Oh yeah, it might not be.
and he mentioned time goes by. They said, "Is that really hard to do that solo, the tapping?" He's like, "It does sound hard to play, but that's all one-handed." So he's actually doing kind of one-handed tapping. He's just like
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually harder because you have to really press on it. Like you're really
Oh
having
yeah,
to.
and you're using them
He's
fingers
not
like
doing this with like the Van Halen. Van Halen's
uh-huh.
doing this kind of tapping, where he's doing just on like
Single hand, yeah.
he might be doing it on Play with the Fire, but time goes by, he's confirmed that he's like I can do that with one hand. It's basically just he was joking.
That's
I can do
crazy.
that with one hand. It's like, yeah, it's just, but
Talking to somebody and doing that.
yeah, Play with the Fire is my pick as well. I think that's just everything you said. Just a great song. Probably yeah, easily the heaviest on here. Tears in the Rain was like kind of a hit. I think that was a good song as well. But
Yeah, Tears and Rain is good.
I'd have to go Play with the Fire for sure.
I like Take a Stand too. I wanted to bring that up. I always like that chorus, man. That's a cool
Yeah,
chorus.
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely didn't expect definitely didn't expect that one for sure from but that both of you picked the same. I mean, so the interesting thing about this album was it actually was supposed to be produced by Ron Nevison, and I got into that riddle with Rick on one of my interviews there.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
And he was actually a lot of the tensions were over this album were over the Nevison wanted Rick Emmett to actually sing on Just One Night because I
Hmm.
guess they started doing a recording with him singing it, and then Gil threw a hissy fit, and there was all these situations going on. Rick explains it better in my interview, but that was pretty much the start of the ball really rolling out pretty rough. Problems within the band. And it's weird because Gil only sings on see three songs plus I guess him and Rick kind of share it on Hooked on You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, but Gil was firmly wanted to sing Just One Night, which
And
was
he
an
hates that
interesting
song
song.
now. He doesn't even like that song now. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, so actually interesting thing about Just One Night since we're bringing it up, Neil Schon from Journey and Eric Martin
Yeah.
from Mr. Big and Tony Fanucci are the ones that actually wrote that song. Kind of interesting. So it's an outside writer song that was brought in.
I think this is the album where they started using outside people, right? I could be
Yeah.
Not
wrong,
not
but
really because
no? Okay.
most of the songs are credited, quote, Emmett,
Yeah.
Levine, and more. I mean, there's a
Okay.
few. There's a Don't Love Anybody Else But Me has Glenn Miller and Ed Roydale.
Because I think that's a cover, actually. It's some weird, obscure cover.
Yeah, Yeah, that's why they
Yeah,
got the credit on it because they wrote it.
yeah,
But the interesting thing is, for the most part, and Rick Sanders obviously gets a writing credit on "Take a Stand" because that was actually before he became into the live part of the band.
yeah.
He co-wrote that song, got a writing credit. I thought he actually played on that song on the album, but it doesn't show on here
Hmm.
as far as the credits go that he did. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to try to dig deeper on that too. I didn't even realize that, but I remember seeing him in concert. I remember they played "Take a Stand" live on the Sport of Kings
Yeah.
tour, and I do
Ooh,
remember
nice.
Rick up there doing a lot of the background vocals. Rick Sanders, that was on that song. So obviously Rick used to front his own band called
Santa.
Sanders, his surname, and so yeah, so that was pretty cool. For me, I had a toss up between two songs on this one, what I was going to pick. And I arm wrestled it down to one, and I went with the band's highest charting U.S. single, "Somebody's Out There."
Yeah.
It came close. I mean, probably if I picked this the next day, tomorrow, or down the road in another month, I might go with the other song. So the other song that was neck and neck with it, for my take, was "Tears in the Rain,"
Yeah.
which
It's a
is a
great
Gill
song.
That's a
song.
great one, man. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the song they opened up with when I first seen them on this tour.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah, so hard to believe. They had two top 40 hits in the US only. We had Hold On at number 38 way back in 1979, and Somebody's Out There at number 27, which is the highest charting US single in 1986. So that's
Mhm.
interesting trivia. I bet you if you ask some Triumph fans, what's their highest charting song? I bet you many couldn't even answer that right. You know,
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
we know Sidney would, but he knows the
You'd almost have
answers.
to ask them in Canada or US, like, because it's almost like different completely things, because it's weird, their history.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got a point. I was gonna say we should stand out in front of the arena tomorrow and start asking random people questions
Like,
to
what's your
see.
favorite Triumph song? We'll start like naming stuff off the first two albums. You're like, where are you from? Canada. Oh, I knew you were Canadian.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So that takes care of 1986. Now we're gonna dig into 1987, which would be the final album with Rick Emmett on it.
My birth year.
Sadly, yep, we got is it peaks up over the peaks
Oh,
there? Surveillance.
yeah. That was a
Um,
cool album cover, actually.
yeah, number
Yeah. I,
31.
I dig the cover, man.
So this is the highest charting Canadian album by them since Never Surrender. Hard to believe. At
Which is
number 31,
crazy.
it went gold. And in the US, you could see where everything kind of took a hit there. We go from 33 at Sport of Kings. Surveillance went to number 82. I really think, and like Rick was telling me, MCA just never promoted it. That was half the problem.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
album is actually totally different than Progressions of Power to me. Where Progressions of Power, I just can't really get into the album. Surveillance, I can get into. There's a lot of great songs on here. Um, it was hard picking one from here. It really was, and not. It was just because I had like four songs I was trying to choose from.
Mhm.
So let's hear what you guys came up with. Go ahead, Logan.
Cool, man. All right. So yeah, I know, well, we're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum on this one. Because I know when we did the show, well,
You're gonna.
Sydney, me and Sydney, well, mainly Sydney was never the biggest fan, and I never really listened to it either.
Hmm.
So, but gathering an opinion, I could kind of see the cracks starting to form in this band, and it's just unfortunate. But like Joey said, I think there's a couple really solid, strong tunes on this record. And the one I picked is I guess technically the third track, Headed for Nowhere, which is, it's got some sound effects to start off. I wrote down like a vehicle passing by before it's
Yeah.
got like a nice energetic rock riff starts up. And this is Gil's first tune to sing on the record. It's got a hooky chorus. It's got some interesting changes, I thought too. And the layered keyboard work, that's something I think me and Sydney agree on most of the time. Sometimes in the 80s, these rock bands went a little overboard on keys at times. And
It
but
works
on
on
this
this
one,
song.
I think it works. Yeah, like Sydney said, it works on the track like this. And I had to mention too, Joey was mentioning Rick Sanders and all that. Steve Morris is actually on this track, so pretty cool. Fresh off his well, he might still been in Kansas around this time. I don't really know,
Yeah.
but yeah, him and Rick kind of show some back and forth things. I think they might trade off on a track like this.
I think Rick Sanders has a co-write on that too, doesn't he? So I don't know if he's
Yes, he
playing on
does.
that too. Is it
Yep.
three guitar players? Joey,
Yeah,
third interview, ask him that one.
yeah. He got
Who's
a
playing on
co-writing
this
credit on
damn
that track.
song?
But yeah, it's got some great jamming guitar work at the end, like Sydney was saying. So
Yeah.
it's like, who knows, really? I mean, maybe all three of them are playing on that. That'd be awesome, man. That's one of the moments like you'd want to be a fly on the wall in the
Yeah.
studio to see that go down, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Headed for Nowhere off Surveillance. Always been my favorite one.
Yeah, this was kind of their they've said it like this was their contract obligation album. They were already like Gil and Rick weren't even like in the same room. Like if it was a Gil song with Gil singing, Rick basically wasn't there. Like they weren't even like together in a studio. They were like separated. It was very bad. I think Gil was like recovering though from something. Wasn't there either an injury or a family thing? I know he was
Yeah,
not
because
there for
I
a
know
reason.
you mentioned that before. Yeah,
But
I
they
can't
also
remember.
weren't getting along either. Like there was a lot of friction there. I mean, Rick left pretty much. Well, that whole thing was. I think they knew he was going to leave after the tour, and I think they didn't want to pay him for the tour or something. I don't know. There was some sort of, again, it all came down to money. And again, they were still fairly young when that happened, but at least that's all water under the bridge now. Obviously they've
Patched
been
it up, man. Yeah, it's
friends for
important
like
thing.
the longest time again, and it's just a shame that we lost all that time. But it's cool that they're back and they're doing shows, and I'm excited for that show tomorrow. But yeah, same song as Logan, Headed for Nowhere. That's the highlight on
Yeah.
this one for me. Due to the yeah, great riff throughout. The soloing in there is killer. To me, it sounds like it could be all three guys, both Ricks and Steve Morse. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Again, that's another thing you'd have to ask Rick if you ever talk to him again. My friend Sidney wants to know what. Yeah,
Rick might have put all the memories of this album like way back in his
yeah.
mind, you know. I don't know. Who
I
knows?
feel like that's a song that would go over well live. People would like if they played that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that would be a cool song to hear live. I mean, you probably would have to bring a couple of guitar players, but they got Phil there, so they could do it. Seeing him and Phil go back and forth on that solo would be awesome. Seeing that live.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, that's my favorite. There was a video for Never Say Never. There was a music video for that. I
Yeah,
don't
and
think I've
it's
seen an
got
album.
the character in it, right? It's got the guy
Yeah,
on the back of the album.
I've seen
Yeah.
that. My
Yeah.
dad used to record music videos on VHS tapes, and I used to just watch them all the time. That's honestly how I got into pretty much rock music, was just watching all these music videos. He would just leave it in there and let it play, and Never Say Never was on there quite a few times. Used to see that one pop up, and so I remember it's kind of a cheesy video, but it's a good song. But I'm going with Headed for Nowhere.
All right, and what we're gonna do here is this is the second album now where we all agree on it. Headed for Nowhere.
Nice.
Who would have thought?
Come on, no
Yeah,
Rock You Down. No, I'm kidding.
definitely, definitely this album is definitely I think this is because of all the things that were going on with this album at the time and within the band and everything. I think it's a very cohesive album, and I mean it actually is really a good album, and the fact that good old MCA, the Music Cemetery of America, decided not to promote it, they
Yeah,
just shot themselves in the foot by not promoting it. I mean, I know they probably knew the band was fighting and they were just trying to get this closed out, but you should, if you got a product out there, you should promote it. I mean, these record companies,
that makes
who
sense.
knows? I don't understand it. Just say if they properly promoted this album and it could have helped it go bigger and maybe save the band at the time. Who knows? You never know.
Yeah,
You
you
don't
Yeah,
know
never
what
know, right?
you
Yeah.
don't know what the future would have done here.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
or at least it would but it just didn't sell. Didn't really make a dent or anything out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely some other great songs on here. Just to mention a couple of them that I like. Carry on the Flame is a good one. I also do like
Yeah,
Never Say Never. All the King's Horse is another one that Steve Morris is also on there,
yeah,
co-wrote there. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a good good amount of songs to pick from that you could have picked from, but we all agreed with Headed for Nowhere, which was awesome.
I kind of feel like it's very front loaded to me, that record. I think all the first few songs are very good to me, but
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah,
All right, all right. Let's dig into good old
Oh,
Edge of Access, the one
we're getting into the
album.
90s. Getting into the 90s.
Yep, we're getting into the 90s. This is another weird one. I guess because of the label situation, it was released on certain labels and certain. So the Canadian
yeah,
version was came out in 1992, October,
yeah.
and the US version did not take place until January. I do remember that because I remember hearing it on Canadian radio stations before we got to hear it on our US station. So, yeah, so there it is Logan's showing off there the
Yeah,
CD booklet.
Mike's rocking the spam hat in that picture.
I think yours is
So
your a reissue? Yours is a
Uh,
reissue, I think, right?
is it Sydney? I don't know.
I
Let me look.
didn't know there was a reissue.
I don't know. Or did you?
It's on Victory. It's on Victory, Sin.
Where
I
did you
don't know.
get that? Oh, yours is. Oh, maybe yours is just the American copy. This is the original, like '92 Canadian one.
Yeah, so it's a little different. Mine's a little lighter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that
Like
makes sense.
picture of
Because
Mike and Bill on the inside.
yeah, because
Hmm.
your label on yours
Virgin.
said probably yep, Virgin in Canada, Victory in the US. There you go. There's
Okay.
the difference between the two of them. But the track listings are all the same.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously this one here before we make our picks never charted. So I guess there's nothing else to do but talk about it. So go ahead. Go ahead, Logan.
Cool, man. So yeah, I think this one kind of gets underlooked in the catalog, I would say. I enjoy it. I think it's a different change of pace from the last few records, obviously. I mean, by the time this came out, 92 or 93, music had changed in a big way, so they kind of went more to the, straightforward hard rock a little bit of the time,
And Rick was
Um
gone for like 5 years already at that point,
Right,
right?
yeah. Yeah. So it's really cool they even put a record out when you think about it, because I mean they
Yeah,
could have hung it up after a guy like Rick leaves, right? But
yeah,
they got a talented guitar player in Phil X on this record, and I think they utilize him pretty well. The only thing I would say is, it would have been cool if they let him sing some, like, like actual
yeah,
lead vocals.
yeah.
But, I know Gil probably was, especially since Rick was gone, he was like, well, this is gonna be my project now. So,
Yeah.
you know.
This was the
But yeah,
album he always wanted to make, basically. But
right. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with the title track actually, Edge of Excess, uh,
Okay.
which is a cool tune. It's their first title track in a few albums, I think probably since what? Never Surrender, right? Or
Yep. You're right.
yeah.
Yep. Surrender.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Starts with like a circular guitar pattern. Into like it's kind of like a bluesy kind of tune, It's got a great like rock and blues feel. And Gil's vocals come in then. And yeah, tracks like this one, Gil shines vocally again. Even if this is, so far down the line from where they started, I mean, I think Gil was one of the, he really improved with every
Yeah.
album in a way, But he was awesome on the first couple, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I think we talked about this. He took like vocal lessons
He took
around,
vocal lessons for
yeah,
this.
Sport of
Again,
Kings
prove
or
his
something,
voice.
or was it for this? Okay,
Yeah,
for this,
for
yeah.
this.
Yeah, because he sounds great on this whole
Probably why
album.
there's a 5 year gap. He's sitting there. He was busy taking vocal lessons. I don't
Yeah.
know. Just
I think it paid off though,
yeah,
for what he did. It's got a
yeah,
nice like build up section. Kind of plays with dynamics, I thought. And it's got a great solo. Phil X really shines on that song.
yeah,
And it's got a nice like stop start riff for more guitar spotlights. Like around 3 minutes into it. And
yeah,
yeah, and then it goes back into the chorus and for more solos for the fade.
yeah,
Um yeah, that's always been one of my favorite tunes on here. Almost 5 minutes, just shy, 4:44.
yeah.
So yeah, that's my pick, the title track, Edge of Excess.
I also wanted to mention there's actually two guitar players. This I forget what his first name is, but he goes by Mladen. It's weird. He's
Oh
not
yeah, I
like
forgot about yeah.
it says Triumph is Gilmore, Mike Levine, and Phil X, but Mladen's actually here as like a session guy, and he's
Hmm.
doing like he's actually co-writes on all this. There's his name's like on a credited on I think like all these songs. So
Cool.
he was from a band called Von Groove, another Canadian band that kind of touched on this style of music. He's actually a really good guitar player. There's actually some great guitar playing in that Von Groove stuff if you want to check that out. But yeah, for For me, I think, and again, I think this would have fared better had this came out like I know they lost Rick. Had they got this together in around like 89, like made of even 90, because this kind of music was still in sync in 90. By 92, this kind of thing was dead. If
Yep.
this came out like in, like I said, 89, 90, maybe it would have been huge.
The
But
the flannel parade had taken over, like I say.
and Nirvana and stuff. But yeah, it's just by then this kind of stuff was sort of dead in the water. But I'm going with the song from the Hellraiser soundtrack. Well, it's not from that. It was used in the
Yeah.
Hellraiser 3 soundtrack, Troublemaker. Probably the
Awesome.
heaviest song they ever did. Really, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's heavier songs, I guess, on the first two, but it's like a different kind of heavy. Just like different production, really, right? It's the 70s and 90s. They're not going to sound like the same type of music, but yeah, Troublemaker, just like this. That's probably the one song you could argue some of this early stuff is heavy metal. That one for sure is a heavy metal song.
Yeah.
Troublemaker just doesn't let up. Just and Kill's voice on that. That's killer. It's just amazing. His voice on that. I think that's again one of his best, strongest vocal performances. I think his vocals stand out. There's some songs on here that are kind of like just generic and just kind of hit or miss that sound like a million other things. But Troublemaker's great. Edge of Excess. Turn My Back on Love, I think, is great. Riding High Again. The rest of it is just, yeah, I don't, Child of the City that had a music video. So they did try to have some success with the music video. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going Troublemaker. And it's produced by Mike Levine. So, well, co produced, but yeah,
Mhm.
I think there's a couple of songs that have a second producer. Noel Golden is producing half the songs with Mike. But yeah, Mike's producing all this.
Cool.
All right, so for my choice, I went with "It's Over,"
Okay.
which is one of the songs that kind of third song on the album, 421. It clocks in at. Yeah, this one here, just to me, I like it the best. But there was some other ones on here to, to try to pick from. But I think for me, "It's Over" definitely was the one that stood out the most here. Interesting note on this one. Now they didn't really do like a full-fledged tour, but they did do some tour dates on this tour. And if you go to YouTube, there is uh, a one from Milwaukee Summerfest, which it's their biggest festival out there in Milwaukee, and they did play on that. And the interesting thing was, so they had obviously the three of them that played on the album, Levine,
Oh, I know.
Gilmore, and Phil X. And then they had still had Rick Sanders. They brought him out, and he sang the Rick Emmett parts on the Rick Emmett songs, which was pretty cool. A lot of people might not know that, only because there's not really a lot of documentation on that. But if you there is a video on YouTube. If you just type in Triumph Live
Interesting. Okay.
1993, it'll say Summerfest is one of the things that pops
Wow.
up from Milwaukee. And he does Lay It on the Line. There's actually, I think that's the one clip that's showing on here. Yeah, Lay It on the Line.
Wow.
I thought I saw like a whole show. It might not be a video of it. It might just be like just the recording itself. So there is a bootleg out there somewhere, obviously. That sounds pretty
That's
good.
that's pretty cool, Joey. I never knew that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because if you look at the set list from that, let's see, they played in San Antonio, Texas. Looks like it was a short set if the set list is accurate, because they only played like 11 songs, and including they played Riding High Again from Edge of Excess. That was
okay.
the opening track, and then they played all the standards, mostly the Gilmore stuff. They only played a few Rick songs. Looks like Lay It on the Line, Magic Power, and Fight the Good Fight. So
Yeah.
it was majority Gil songs, which makes sense because he was the
Yeah.
only one left in the band that was singing. But it was smart to bring Rick Sanders in there because if you listen to some of this stuff, he did a really good job on it. And
Yeah.
you can't fault him at all. He definitely did his best, and it sounds pretty good. I like it. So other than that, yeah, so that basically takes us straight to the end here, Edge of Excess. So great to go through these albums, and hopefully people will learn more about what we talked about and give these albums a chance because obviously there was a few on here that weren't really in the public eye as much as Allied Forces and
Yeah.
you know Rock and Roll Machine and Just a Game, and all the Sidney favorite albums that he mentioned there. progression to power.
Well, I gotta give. I mean, Sydney really showed me like because I knew Triumph's bigger songs right when we first started talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
Um, but then he really showed me all these deep songs and the hard rock that they used to do and the when they were popular biggest in Canada, and it just blew my mind. Because them songs are just as classic as the hit songs you hear on the radio. It's just
Yeah.
see, it's just one of them things. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that's the nice thing, you get a chance to at least the catalog for Triumph compared to some bands isn't really too expansive and not a really big catalog. So
Yeah.
you can
right.
really take your time and just go through it and not have to worry about going through 20 albums or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and it's just a good listen all the way through. You're going to find stuff that you might not have realized before, if you listen a lot closer to it. Um,
I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
variety. Not a single album sounds like the previous one before it.
right.
They all kind of have their own sound to it.
About
They
something
never
for
made the same album
every
twice.
something for every kind of rock fan, really. I
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So this was a fun, informative episode here, and thank you guys for coming aboard. Why don't you explain, give everybody a rundown of what to expect on your channel and everything?
Yep. So it's Slogan's Rock and Metal Extravaganza. Me and Logan. It's Sidney and Logan. And I realized I gave him most of the name in the show, Slogans. But I was like, yeah, whatever. If he ever leaves, I don't know. The show's gonna have a weird name. Yeah.
It's gonna be S and
Just
with
be
the
S.
Logan crossed out.
S is Rock and Metal Extravaganza. Oh my god. I'll have
I
to find
plan
out.
on leaving, man. Hopefully I don't have to leave anytime soon. So
Oh, that's funny. Oh, yeah. Anyways, but nothing coming up because usually our shows are Saturday, Sunday, but obviously me and Joey are actually going to the same cons, or we might meet up in Hamilton. We're going to the same Triumph show tomorrow. So that's be good because I've never seen them, so at least I'm finally getting to see them. I never thought I would forget to see these guys live ever,
Right. Yeah.
any
yeah,
formation. So like when they
it's
announced that,
awesome.
yeah, I'm bummed that Mike's probably not going to be there. Who knows? He might show up. Like who knows? But yeah, we'll see. But what's going on our channel? So nothing's actually posted right now, but next weekend we're doing it's gonna be going on for a while. We're kind of like rotating different shows every weekend. But next show coming up will be a Michael. Is it the next show? Yeah, the next show
Yep.
will be a Michael Shanker show. Um, we're doing our Michael Shanker series. We're going through everything in his catalog, from the Scorpion stuff to solo, everything. We
Oh
still have
wow.
like 40 albums left.
It's a deep
And some,
catalog. Let's just put it like
it's,
Oh
that.
yeah.
I didn't realize. I'm like, oh, it'll be like 6 episodes. I think we're on like 7, and we're not even like halfway. It's so much. Like right now, we're only in like 92, 93. He did like these 3 acoustic things. So we're talking about his 3 acoustic albums that he did in 93. So yeah, Nightmare, and then I think there's Nightmare on like I don't know, there's some other live album, and then Thank You is his other third one that he did in the 90s. But yeah, we're kind of like trying to break it down as best as we can, kind of have some sort of a theme each episode. So we did like the Shanker group stuff, and then we did it's yeah, it's gonna be a long series. But yeah, we rotate weeks on that though. But then because then the other week after that, we do this. We started like this best top 3 albums shows that you were on. Actually, you were on the 1960. No, you were on the 1971 we just did.
Yep.
So
Yep.
1970. Yep.
we'll be going to 1971 next, and yeah, we'll be going to 1971. So our next 2 shows will be the continuing our Michael Shanker series, and we'll be picking our top 3 albums from 1971. So that's what's some stuff coming up on the channel. We also have an interview booked for June 6th with both guitar players from the Canadian band Tease, because they've got a new album coming out, first new album in like 40 years. So, which
Hmm.
is crazy. Finally got back together. They actually just released a song today that I was checking out. So their original guitar player is going to join us for that, plus one of the newer guys who has just kind of joined them in like the last 10 years. But yeah, it's going to be fun getting another interview under our belt with that. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Good Canadian band that not much people talk about. But, yeah, it'd be fun to do that an interview again. So So that's some of the stuff that's coming up. And
All right.
yeah,
And then don't forget on my channel, me and Sydney will be finishing up our Crocus
oh,
series probably in a couple weeks here with our final three albums of Crocus, album by album. So that will be another one to stay tuned. And we'll have to get together and the three of us and do another artist coming up down the road, which we'll discuss sometime in the near future here. And so, yeah, a lot going on both channels. And yeah, stay tuned for much more. Appreciate you guys coming aboard for this episode.
Thanks for
And
having us, Joey. It was a lot of fun, man.
yeah,
yeah,
definitely, definitely a good time here. Definitely great. Thank you once again. And signing off.